All right, we are live. This is WMMA Fighters, and this is Kyle. And I have Marissa Dynamite Jean with me. How you doing, Marissa?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for being on here.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
Oh, for sure. First of all, I love the nickname Dynamite. That's just awesome. It's always been one of my favorites. So it's kind of let's just start with that. Who gave that to you? How long have you had that name?
So I actually got that name in Okinawa, Japan. I lived there for a few years.
Hmm.
So I got that by my first instructor, Sensei Ben. So he gave that to me a while back.
Nice. So yeah, that's cool. So world traveler. So we'll talk about that. Um, if you wouldn't mind, kind of walk us through your MMA journey. What got you to where you are today, and what
Okay.
you plan on doing this year?
Okay. I started a few years ago. I started just doing fitness kickboxing because I was pretty overweight. So I started just to lose weight, and then I got really into it. Everything I do, I try to do it to my best ability. So I started to fall in love with just the sport kickboxing. So I started kickboxing out in Japan. I had my first fight out there, and then I moved back to the States, and I wanted to find a gym around here, and I found Pure MMA,
Hmm.
and I found a home there, and I started doing a bunch of kickboxing fights. And then I just switched to MMA about, I think it's been a year now. I just finished my third, so hasn't been too long, but I've been training for a while and working on my ground game quite a bit.
Yeah. So what was the deciding factor there to go from kickboxing to MMA?
My height.
Height, really?
So at least it was for me. I'm really short, and I also, you know, even fighting at 115 in kickboxing, the girls were always about, I mean, like 10 inches taller,
Wow.
9 inches taller. Even at 115 pounds, they were still a lot taller, and I couldn't use like some strengths that I didn't know that I had, because I am 5 foot tall, and I didn't know that how strong I could be on the ground or wrestling. So once I tapped into that, I knew that I wanted to switch.
Okay, that's cool. So you really enjoy the grappling aspect of it?
Yes.
Yeah. Did you do any sports growing up or sports in school?
I played softball,
Hmm.
but I never did any, like, nothing like this.
Nothing like this. So, kind of hit on before that. So it was really was it for getting in shape? Is that where it all
Yeah,
kind of began? And
that's how it started. Yeah.
yeah, and then so when it comes to doing that and then getting into competition, did you get bit by the bug, or did a coach mention it to you?
No, I just really wanted to do it.
Hmm.
And once I did one fight out in Japan, I loved that feeling. So I just wanted to keep feeling it. So once I came back here and I came to Pure, I worked with a few different coaches, and we got me ready for a kickboxing fight here. And then I just kept growing from there.
Nice, that's really cool. So, what is your favorite thing about not just MMA, but doing combat sports in general?
I'm trying to think of like what my favorite thing. I like that it's you're in there alone, but you couldn't have gotten there without your teammates. So I like that aspect of it. I like that without my teammates and my training partners, I wouldn't be where I am. But you do go in by yourself, but you feel like they're with you because they got you ready. They got you ready for that moment.
Yeah, that's a good point. Um, it's like you say, you're in there alone, and it is a team effort. You have your corner. So that's what one of the many reasons why I think it's really unique is come competition, it's essentially just you,
Right.
but you have people with you. You have a team with you.
Right.
So what is it like? I mean, weight cutting and all that stuff. Do you feel you have a good system in place for that? I mean, is it somewhat comfortable for you?
I feel like I have a better system for it now.
Okay.
It's the this is the best weight cut I've had.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was a lot different, and I'm, confident that now I'll be able to continue to have weight cuts like this one. It always is a little more difficult for me. Making 115 was tough, so having my catch weight at 120 seems good right now, and I just want to be healthy. So I don't care about how short I am.
Mm-hmm.
I care about being a healthy fighter. I'd rather be healthy than anything else.
Yeah, I think that's very important, and not just for longevity, but of a career, but also sanity. I think if you're absolutely crushing yourself, and you keep like your height, like you mentioned, I never really thought about that, and I think kickboxers or people who kickbox competitively, professionally, they tend to be taller, and lanky. Sorry, my dog's freaking out. I don't even know what for, but yeah. So I think that's really interesting to me. It's the first time I've heard that.
Yes, at least I noticed it.
Mm-hmm.
I never really kickboxed anyone my height.
Yeah. Well, now that you mention that, it makes perfect sense. I like to watch Glory a lot, Glory Kickboxing.
Yeah.
And you can kind of see that. And I think another great fighter who is always shorter than it doesn't matter what weight class she's in, but Emily Ducote. It seems like she is smaller than everybody, But she'll tangle with anyone.
My good training partner, Lindsay Van Zant, she's short.
Yes.
And she's short like me, but we're built completely differently.
Yeah.
And she gave me really good advice that, you just want to feel strong and healthy. Like, just because we're the same height doesn't mean that we're both going to fight at 105.
Mm-hmm.
We're built completely different. And that, it meant a lot, like coming from someone like her, because I look up to her, and she's a great training partner to have.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, she's one of my best friends, and
she's amazing.
Yeah, totally. So that's really cool, and that's good advice. You definitely have an awesome outlook on this whole thing, and the doing this sport it's probably the toughest sport you could possibly do. Looking at it just from a sports standpoint, are you glad you switched to MMA?
Yeah, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love kickboxing, and I love kickboxers, and I think it's great. But I've really fallen in love with MMA.
Yeah.
I like all aspects of it.
Mm-hmm. So were you a fan of the sport prior, or a spectator, or are you more so or less so now?
I am now, but
now?
I wasn't. Yes, I wasn't. I didn't really pay much attention to it. So.
Yeah, and that's kind of like that's always a mixed bag of answers that I get from that one, and it seems like every one of them just kind of surprises me a little bit. But I actually get more of where you come from, where you really didn't pay much attention to it before. No. So now being in it, you mentioned Lindsay Van Zant. Who are some other fighters that you like to watch and, like their style?
Well, I love Lindsay. She's my favorite. One of my coaches, Andy Main, I love watching him fight. He's I love his composure. Mm-hmm. If I could just take half of his composure, I feel like I'd be a good fighter, because he's just very composed.
That's huge you say that, because I picture you being composed, But yeah, that's a good point. So are you do you watch a lot of UFCs or Bellator?
I do watch it when I can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not as big of a fan as a lot of people, but I do watch.
Yeah, I know there's a huge card tonight.
Yes.
This whole ESPN circus starts.
Yeah.
It officially starts tonight.
So yes, crazy.
We'll see how this ends up going, but so moving from that a little bit, So are you doing this full time, or are you having to work another job and
I
find
work.
time to train? Yeah.
I work and then I train at night.
Okay. Is that, I mean, is that something that you're doing? I don't really know how to word this, but I would assume you're trying to make this MMA stuff what you do.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. I am, but I have a long way to go.
Mhm.
So I'm just taking it one fight at a time right now.
Yeah.
Just trying to get better. So
No.
I
Yeah.
I have my work schedule down pretty good. So, I can train in the morning and then a little in the afternoon and majority of it at night.
Okay.
So I managed to get it all in.
Yeah. That's good. Now with that, not just at work but at home, family, friends. You got a good support system for the most part for this?
I have very good coaching support system.
Perfect.
Coaches are very supportive. Kevin Mohall, Adrian Luna, Scott Heckman. They're all really supportive, and I can always count on them
Yeah.
when it comes to giving me support.
Yeah. I mean, you have everything it takes, to do this. And it's really cool to see where you're going. So you say you're 3 fights in?
3 fights in,
3 fights
yes.
in, yeah.
Yeah.
So what is your like night before? Do you have like a routine, or do you just kind of just check out?
Do I wing it?
Yeah, yeah.
No, I have well, you go to weigh-ins, right? So the night before, you just need to make it to
Mhm.
weigh-ins. So once I make it after that, I'm really excited about Pedialyte usually. And then after that wears off, I just relax.
Yeah.
Like I don't really think about too much. I don't think about, anything crazy. I just try to relax and laugh, watch a movie,
Yeah.
like nothing crazy.
Yeah. Again, that's another one of those that there's some fighters who they rehydrate and then they just hit the town. You know what I mean? And then
No,
there's others that they hydrate and they just kind of exist. I mean,
yeah.
I think the weight cutting is just it's crazy. So kind of because the majority of the world will never experience it. So what is that walk to the cage like? What is it? What are you feeling?
This time I felt I was just really excited.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't very nervous this time, like healthy nerves. Like everyone's nervous. Like
Right.
you can't say not nervous. That's ridiculous. But it was like healthy nerves, and I was just really excited. I couldn't wait to be in there. I knew I trained hard. I knew I had all the tools I needed to do what I needed to do. So I was just really excited to get in there.
That's cool. Yeah, you're right. I mean, if you're not nervous, then you have something psychologically wrong
Right.
with you, I think.
Something wrong.
No, that's really cool, and you're right. It is. I think that's a key term, right? Healthy nerves.
Mhm.
It's good to feel that way. So the whole I mean, do you have like how like baseball, right, is a very superstitious sport, where
Yeah.
you got I just think of
Absolutely.
Major League where you got the dude with the voodoo dolls and all that crap. Do you have like one
I have.
person who tapes your hands, or do you have certain things that you have to do every time?
So I wear the same hoodie every time.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wear the same outfit. So that's like my thing. I wear the same outfit to fight in. If I've won in it, I wear it. If I haven't, I change it. So that's like my weird thing. Like it's a little bit weird. And then like I normally like say a little prayer, like the same thing every time right before I go out, and I always do that right
Yeah.
before. But besides that, nothing.
Nothing. Yeah, I mean, again, I'm sure there's some crazy there's some crazy
I'm
stuff
sure
out
there are.
there. I'm sure. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's a pretty cool insight on, kind of like the mindset. Now here's a question: do you wash that hoodie?
I do wash it.
Okay.
Heard that I wash it. Like it can be washed. It's okay.
I was about to say, so you're not at that level.
Not at that level yet, but I
Okay.
guess it could happen. Like, you never know.
Okay. I had to ask, right?
I,
Um, so 2019 just started. You just had a fight, right?
yes,
That was last weekend,
last Saturday. It's
last
been 1 week.
Saturday,
Yeah.
and that was incredibly impressive. And we were talking last night about social media.
Yep.
When you're in a fight camp, and I loved how you pointed out that you just kind of avoid it.
Yep.
When you're in camp, you got to focus, and you got enough going on. So is that like you, or was that something you came up with? Talking with coaches, was that an advice
With my
thing?
one of my coaches,
Hmm.
he basically just gave me the advice that you let your fighting talk.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to say anything. It's probably going to drive you crazy and distract you. So, ever since I had that conversation with him, I really stay off of it.
Hmm.
I stay like very quiet the whole time I'm in camp. And then after, you post the pictures and the videos, but then I'm quiet again, really.
Yeah.
So I don't really have a huge social media thing going on, and I'm
Hmm.
okay with it.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I think true MMA fans they want to see the fight.
Right.
And that I think that's huge. And I think that's a great approach because social media can be amazing, it can be terrible.
Hmm.
You know, it, I don't know because you see fighters who are very very much into it,
Yeah, to each
and
their.
yeah, and then you see a lot of them that aren't. And I don't think either one necessarily equates to success in
Right.
the sport at all. So
No.
I think it's a personal choice. Personally, I think your choice is the better way to go. But I obviously don't do it. but
Right.
I think it's definitely the way to go. So what are some things that you can't have a lot of it, I'm sure, but what are some things you like to do on your downtime?
Oh, that's a good question. I like to.
Yeah.
People always ask me that. They say, like, what do you do in your free time? Well, I don't really have like a lot of free time, and
Right.
I enjoy training. Like, I like thoroughly enjoy it. So like this week, I asked my coach Kevin. I was like, what do you want me to do? And he's like, I want you to do whatever makes you happiest. So I did like jujitsu classes and just so I could like be with my friends again, like be like goofy and
Yeah.
not so serious and like drilling specific things, like just having fun with the gentle art, just relaxing,
Yeah.
give
I mean,
me a little break.
it sounds like you got yourself an awesome coaching crew there. I mean,
I do.
really.
I'm
Yeah.
really lucky. I'm very blessed to have them.
Yeah, I mean, it's earned in my opinion. I mean, and I think coaches like that are very special, and when they see a special person, a special fighter, it kind of it's a recipe for success.
Yeah,
So I mean, you kind of you get what you give out for the most part, I think, and
yeah.
you I think you attract that, so that's really good. So what are some of your 2019 goals with MMA?
I just want to fight.
Yeah.
So that's really all I got. I have just want to fight and stay healthy,
Hmm.
injury free, and just be healthy enough to fight.
Yeah.
That's
I love it.
grow, fight, take some time off to grow, sharpen my skills,
Hmm.
change it a little bit, and then fight again.
Yeah.
So
I think
just stay healthy.
yeah, I think you're looking at longevity, and that's the approach. You can really have a pretty long career in this, and
Nope.
but you have to stay healthy, like you said.
Right.
It's very important. So, like I said, I know you don't have a lot of time, so I don't want to keep you much longer. But who do you fight for, and what really keeps you motivated?
My brother is like my biggest motivation. He's older than me. He's a year older than me, so he is 29. and I'll be 28 in a week. So we're very close in age, and he has cerebral palsy, but he is my biggest supporter. He loves it. He loves that I fight. He watches all of my fights, and he loves it. And if he could physically do it, I think he would,
Yeah.
but he can't. So whenever I'm having like a bad day or like the weight cut, you're just like, oh, I can't. Well, of course you can. Like, you can do it. Like, he can't do it. So you can do it. So
Mm-hmm.
I just, quickly try to change how I'm feeling about it because I'm lucky enough to be healthy enough to be able to do what I love. So I'm very, very lucky to be able to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's huge. And that's so cool. And it makes it personal. It
Yeah.
makes it not just the training, but the competition itself. When you get the fight and you're in there, it makes it personal. Um, so dealing with that, do you put a lot of pressure on your? I mean, do you have a hard time with putting a lot of pressure on yourself? You want to succeed, but do you feel like you really want to succeed for him and all those that support you?
I put a lot of pressure on myself, but I think, like I said, my coaches, they really bring me back down
Yeah,
because the more pressure you put on yourself, the worse you're gonna do. So you really just need to calm down. And I know my brother, whether I win or lose, he's gonna love me the same. He's proud of me
that's
regardless.
awesome.
He just doesn't want me to get hurt.
Yeah,
So
right. That's so cool. It's yeah, that's funny. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna support you, but doing this, but yeah, don't get hurt. it's it's not easy to do, but I'm telling you, this is an awesome conversation, and I know you're going to do really well. And like you said, I mean, you turned 28 in a week. You're just scratching the surface. But yeah, I don't want to keep you any longer. I know you got. I don't want to take up your time, but I appreciate you coming on here. It means a lot to me, and
you.
this was a great conversation. So,
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
oh yeah, thank you for your time, and good luck. And I know you're gonna do really well, and this will be a big year, I'm sure.
Thank you.
All right,
Thanks
have a
so
good one.
much. You too.
Bye. All right, that was Marissa Dynamite Jean. She just had a fight. She won. She's doing really well. Gonna make a name for herself. She's got a lot to fight for, and she does it and accepts it. And it's awesome to have that. And yeah, just the overall really good interview. Great to hear from her. So give her a follow on social media, and we will be back Tuesday with an interview. At 1 o'clock today, we had to reschedule, so we'll keep you posted on that. But thanks for listening, and have a good afternoon.